Well, what's up, everybody? Hey, listen, since I'm all kind of trapped here in my basement because I have a broken ankle, you can see my shorts video on that. Broke my ankle in 3 places, compound fracture actually, but it wasn't the bike's fault. I fell off a ladder. Anyway, since I can't ride probably for a few months, I'm like, maybe I should just do some videos on some things that I always think about when riding, and I get comments, not so much this topic, but I do get a lot of comments about other things. But today, because it's very important to me, I wanted to talk about the helmet. Yes, I wear one all the time. You can see from my videos that I always wear a helmet. It's a personal choice. Now, in the state of Ohio, and depending on each state, the state dictates the laws on helmet. It's not a federal thing. It's actually per state that dictates that. And that makes absolutely no sense. But it is what it is. In the state of Ohio, if I'm under 18 years old, legally I have to wear a helmet. Or if I've only had my motorcycle license for less than 12 months, I have to wear a helmet. So since I'm beyond that now, and I do have a motorcycle endorsement, and it's been over 12 months, I technically don't have to wear a helmet anymore. Granted, I have ridden my bike around the neighborhood, not on the main drag, subdivision, 20 miles an hour tops, just to feel that wind. I didn't do a video on it, but I have done that on occasion. Yes, I do not wear a helmet sometimes, but that's my own choice, and I'm always taking a chance, right? But it's less likely if I'm going 20, 25 miles an hour that I'm going to cause a major catastrophe if I do happen to fall off the bike. It could happen. It could happen even standing next to the bike and falling over, right? There's no guarantees in life. With this ankle injury, I got me thinking. It sucks to be immobile. I don't like to be cooped up in a house. I got to wear this cast for probably 2 months. Then I'm going to require physical therapy, and that's just no fun. So I'm thinking, what if I ever had an accident and I wasn't wearing a helmet on a bike? That could be a lot worse. If you're lucky enough to survive it, I don't know if that would be considered lucky. What if you're disabled then? What if you have a head injury or trauma and you're a vegetable or whatever? There's so many horrible things that we can think about. Would you really like to live the rest of your life like that? I know I wouldn't. To me, I think we move on when we pass away. I think we carry on. Now, that's a personal belief, and everyone has their own. We all know about that. So we won't get into that. But whatever your personal beliefs are, I feel that sometimes if I had a major accident where I had known that, this is kind of morbid to think about, if I was going to have an accident where I was going to be a vegetable and I had other people that were going to take care of me the rest of my life, I wouldn't want to put that burden on anyone. I feel bad enough having a broken ankle, having my wife bring me a glass of water. I don't like that because I've always been very independent, and I don't like people taking care of me. It's just my human nature. But as I get older, I know that's going to change, and someday when I'm really old, I might have to have care, and that's fine. It just comes with age. Anyway, back to the helmet. I don't want to take that chance, getting out there on a bike, having a crash or an accident, and, living the rest of my life where I can't enjoy it. I don't want that. I would rather pass away. I would not want that at all. So again, that's a personal choice. So I did a little research on helmets. I think it wasn't to the mid 20th century that helmets started gaining traction. Motorcycles were always something that people would be daring. They get out on 2 wheels, and they would like to enjoy the wind in their hair and, be daring and adventurous. So as motorcycles became more popular over the centuries, so did helmets. And because there's just more motorbikes on the road, the safety wearing a helmet has been dramatically improved, and it could save your life. But early riders did brave the road with minimum protection. And I do that too. Sometimes I'll get on my bike and I'm like, yeah, I got a helmet on, but I have no gear. I have a shorts, and not shorts so much, but a t-shirt on. And I don't really know that I know I wouldn't want to deal with that road rash, if I did fall off my bike. That's not fun either. I watched a video once where they were talking about road rash, and the guy's like, if you do it one time, I guarantee you from then on, if you survive, you're going to wear protection because you don't like to go through that pain anymore. And no, I agree. So I'm taking a chance every time I go out with not really having the proper jacket, long sleeve padding. I know, it's my choice. So is a helmet. Let me read off just a few little stats here that kind of hit home to me. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, helmets are estimated to be 37% effective in preventing fatal injuries to motorcycle riders and 41% effective in preventing fatal injuries to motorcycle passengers in traffic crashes. So 37% preventing a fatal injury. Wow, I actually thought it'd be higher than that. Now, I'm getting this right off a website, so if I'm wrong, then correct me, but I'm just getting this off the highway website. This was 2023. NHTSA also states that for every 100 motorcycle riders killed in crashes while not wearing helmets, 29 more could have been saved if they had been wearing a helmet. You know, it's about a third, I guess, 29 out of 100. We don't have to be rocket scientists to know that, yeah, helmets save lives. We all get that, but it boils down to a personal choice. Now, I'm curious, do you wear a helmet? I think I've asked this before, but leave it in the comments. I'd like to know if you wear a helmet and why. If you don't wear a helmet, what I'm curious to know is why. Either way, because if you don't wear a helmet, I mean, I get it. When you don't wear a helmet, you do feel the wind. You have more essence of the experience, right? With the wind and stuff. You don't have this big bulky thing over your face and ears. I can see that because when I go out just riding around my neighborhood without a helmet on, it's pretty cool. And I'll put some shades on so I don't get bugs in my eyes, but it is a pretty cool feeling. I just don't want to risk that on the main road. Of the motorcycle operators involved in fatal crashes in 2023, 34% were riding without a valid motorcycle license. Isn't that interesting? 34% of fatalities. Well, what causes a motorcycle fatality? Number one is inexperience. And that stat kind of tells me right there that because they don't have their endorsement, you know, they didn't go through the proper training properly and they just never took it serious enough. And there's a lot of riders out there that don't even get caught that don't have endorsements. You know, they're taking a chance. But getting back to the stat of that 34%, they didn't have motorcycle licenses. So it makes you wonder, you know, they're probably novice riders or people that never took a rider's course, and it happens. Now, those are just abstract numbers, but they're real lives, and it affects real families. Choosing to wear a helmet isn't about restricting your freedom. It's about protecting your future, really. It's about making sure you get to ride another day. So here's some useful websites if you guys want to learn more about that and the safety and things of that nature. I know some of you are probably like, I don't care. I'm just going to ride without a helmet, and I'm taking my chance in life, and hey, you know, more power to you. Nobody can force you to wear a helmet. That's a personal choice. So this website, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IIHS, their website has an up-to-date information on state motorcycle helmet laws. Just search IIHS motorcycle helmet laws. Your state's Department of Motor Vehicles, like your DMV or equivalent agency, their official website will have the most accurate and current information on traffic laws, including helmet requirements. So you just search your state name, DMV, motorcycle laws. And there's the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, MSF. The MSF offers valuable safety courses and resources and often provides information on state laws. Check out their website at mfs-usa.org. And you also have local motorcycle clubs and organizations. And these groups are often a great source of information about local regulations and rider safety. So beyond the legal aspect, helmets come in all shapes and sizes. I have a modular full face helmet. You see some riders out there that only have what you call the open face helmet that's just protecting the top of the head. I like the full face. I don't want to harm this beauty. I'm kidding. But when I have the full face, it's going to be nice if I do, heaven forbid, have a wreck that my face is intact. I have all my teeth and things like that. So that's why I wear the full face helmet. Just a personal choice. But again, if you buy a helmet, make sure it fits securely and be sure that it meets the requirements and the safety standards like DOT, ECE, Snell. Just make sure it's one of those. But guys, at the end of the day, right, it's your choice. But the evidence is overwhelming. And I'm not a big stat guy myself, but when I look at the numbers, yeah, I feel that I'm real confident when I do go out and ride and I wear that helmet that my chances of coming back home in one piece are greatly, greatly increased. And the helmet, by the way, is the most single important safety thing you can wear when you ride a bike, and that's why I do it. I'm taking a chance without the skin protection and the padding. I know that. I'm sure one time if I ever have that road rash that I'll probably change my mind. So again, let me know. Let me know what you thought about this. I'm going to be hobbled up for a few months here. So yeah, we can talk about things like this, but I want to know if you wear a helmet or not and why. Do you have any stories if you did have an accident without a helmet, either on or off? How did that make out? You're obviously still here. So if you're talking about it, then you're here. So I'd like to know what happened there. So before you twist that throttle, make sure you're geared up, head protected, and ride safe out there. And I'll catch you on the next one.